Hi, my name's Matt and I'd like to welcome you to this Zinniac video on the supplier management practice. This is part of our ITIL specialist course, Drive Stakeholder Value, and specifically the engage step of the customer journey. Let's start off by looking at the purpose of supplier management, which is to ensure that the organisation's suppliers and their performance are managed appropriately to support the seamless provision of quality products and services. This includes creating closer, more collaborative relationships with key suppliers to uncover and realise new value and reduce the risk of failure. So the key thing I want to pick out of there really is seamless provision of quality services. So from the consumer's point of view, when they're consuming our services, they should be unaware which bits of that service we're doing ourselves and which bits we've outsourced or which bits are being done by a supplier. It should be seamless to them. And if we change a supplier, either change from one external supplier to another external supplier, or insource something or outsource something, the service that process should be seamless to the customer. Other than if we're doing it to improve the service, then obviously they should feel an improvement in the service if we do that. But other than that, it should be seamless. So we need to define strategies for the use of third-party services, and it should support the overall strategy. So as we always do, what's our overall strategy? That's what our goals, objectives are based on. Everything we do is focused on achieving that overall strategy. Define which resources should be created and managed internally and which may be obtained from or managed by third parties and to what extent. And very often that question of, what must we do ourselves, what could we do or ask a third party to do, and what definitely should we get a third party to do. So there's kind of three groups really. Is typically the things we want to do ourselves are the things that are going to differentiate us in the market. So if it's something that's a USP for us that's going to differentiate us in the market, we probably want to do it ourselves. If it's highly commoditized, then we're likely to actually actively want to outsource it. And then the other things are kind of up for grabs, if you like, in the middle of we might outsource them, we might insource them, and we might change our mind. But USPs, things that are really highly focused, those value drivers that really going to affect our success, much more likely that we'll want to do them. Highly commoditized things, much more likely to outsource them. The supply management practice defines the overall approach to managing third-party services, ensures that the right supplier is evaluated and selected, tries to do that anyway, to deliver quality products and services aligned to business objectives. I said we're always aligned. Meet the utility and warranty commitments, enable realization of the desired outcomes. So obviously that's what our customers are focused on. That's what we're focused on from our suppliers. Meet or exceed the requirements for service and product quality, and minimize delivery risks. And finally, flexibility and agility are the key aspects of a modern organisation and are also the key expectations from suppliers. And the reason for that is that just the world is changing. So what we need today, or what we think we need today, won't be what we need tomorrow. The world will have changed and we'll need something a bit different. So what we need are suppliers who can adapt and provide us what we need tomorrow, not what we needed yesterday. So we don't want the sort of supplier who's like, well, you've got a contract, you've signed a 5-year contract, and this is what you get for 5 years. But it's not what we need anymore. Well, tough. That's no good. We need that flexibility. So obviously we need to think about that when we're signing contracts and agreeing with suppliers, but we need that flexibility built in. The world changes and stuff happens that we can't predict, like pandemics and things. So we're going to look at, as we have done before, at the success factors starting with ensuring that the sourcing strategy and guidelines effectively support the organisation's strategy. So again, top down, what's the organisation strategy? How are we going to support that? The sourcing policy includes principles and criteria for sourcing resources. A sourcing strategy is developed based on the sourcing policy and maintained to ensure the alignment of the business needs and supplier targets. It includes supplier categorization. And again, when you're categorizing anything, not too many categories. The categorization is to make it easier for us to manage, so we don't want too many. Requirements for suppliers of each category and basic rules of supplier management. The strategy is supported with guidelines covering key aspects, including management of the service relationship at every step of the journey, management of contracts and agreements, supplier performance management and reporting, and the integration of third-party services into products and services. Procedures establish a framework to drive contractual compliance by suppliers, conduct periodic audits, and measure, analyse, review, and report on the performance of each supplier. This forms the key input for the supplier reviews and for the organisation to reward or penalise suppliers based on their performance. So what we're talking about here is effectively a hierarchy of documents in reality. May well be digital documents, they might be on a portal somewhere, but effectively it's a hierarchy of documents. So you've got the policy at the top, the strategy that's based on the policy, and then guidelines and frameworks and processes and procedures that support that strategy. So it's a hierarchy of documents that we can evolve iteratively and incrementally over time, and also obviously that's how we improve it. Next success factor, ensuring that service relationships with all suppliers and partners are managed effectively and in line with internal and external regulations. So the internal regulations are what we've just talked about, the policy, the strategy, the framework, processes and procedures and so on. That's the management system. We've got to comply with that. That's why we've written it. And just on that point, if you are involved in writing those documents and you haven't done it before or you're struggling, what really helped me, and it may or may not help you, I come from a coding background, and what helped me with writing management systems was the way I thought of it was, when I want a machine to do something, I write some code. When I want humans to do something, I write a policy or a process or a procedure or a strategy. So when I thought of it in that way, as it was the way writing those documents, writing that management system is how you instruct other people to do what you want. Whereas when you write code, you're telling machines to do what you want. That really helped me, so I may or may not help you. When organisations act as the service consumer, they follow the customer side of the service relationship journey, and suppliers follow the service provider's side. Obviously, each step of the journey should be supported with procedures, skills and competencies, information, tools, external services, if appropriate. Specific solutions for each step vary depending on factors such as scale, type of relationship, category of supplier, nature of the services they provide, and so on. Ensuring the effective integration of third-party services into the organisation's products and services. So that integration may vary, but most organisations have critical dependencies where core products and services may be unavailable in case of a major disruption of some of the external services. So the obvious example for you is the platform upon which you're watching this video is the critical dependency for Zindiac. So if Podia goes down, which is our platform, you won't be able to watch this video and you'll be dissatisfied with our service clearly, and I will be. So that's a critical dependency. If our accounting system goes down, you won't know. Yeah, so that's not a critical dependency. It's important for us and we need it there and we need it for VAT and so on, but if it goes down for even a couple of hours, it's neither here nor there to us really. It's not a critical dependency. If our email system goes down, we don't want it to, but it's not a critical dependency. I'm just trying to think really the only critical dependency we've got is Supplier. Everything else we can kind of cope with. We want them available when we want to use them, but that's our critical dependency. Not that recently. In the UK, I think it was KFC. KFC changed their chicken supplier or their distribution company who distributed chicken to their restaurants, and that failed. And that was clearly a critical dependency because they had signs up in KFCs in the UK saying we've got no chicken, which when that's your product is a fairly major thing. Whereas other things could have failed and it wouldn't have been quite so critical. The following is critical to effectively manage external services in the organisation's context. Understanding the external services scope, nature and terms of provision, understanding the dependencies, understanding the risks, considering the dependencies and associated risks from the early steps of product design and along the product and service life cycle. So again, right at the beginning, we're considering them and just thinking about it all the time. As things change, we get new information, the world changes, the customer changes their mind or understands their requirements better, so we're considering those things all the way along. It is likely most value streams require supplier management. Onboarding and offboarding. Capture or update the supplier's dependency matrix. Seamlessly support the provision of quality products and services. Yeah, so if we're onboarding or offboarding a supplier, we need to make sure, think about information security, particularly in terms of, is there any vital information stored in their systems? Are we going to lose access to that? Do we need to download it? Extraction transformation load. Do we need to take it out of an old system, put into a new system? How long are we going to have access to the old system? Could we roll back? Often when you upgrade, there's no going back because you've moved to different formats and things, but we need to be aware of that. Okay, so that brings us to the end of this video on the supplier management practice. I hope you've enjoyed it. Until you see me again, have a great day.